Is it as easy as that? I mean, January comes around, everybody's overdone it over Christmas. Can you think yourself thin?
Well, through thinking, you can change your relationship with food. Yale University, the #1 university in America, conducted a study a few years ago, and they concluded that weight loss is a behavioural issue. And the problem I have with diets is, see, nobody wakes up one morning 5 stone overweight. What they do is they start the new year and they starve themselves, and so it seems like it's working at first, but because they've starved themselves, they're slowing their metabolism, so when they stop the diet, they pile on more weight than before they started it. And so what we have to do is change our relationships and our behaviours around food. In fact, the single best piece of advice I could give people who want to lose weight is, and this comes from a number of research studies conducted around the world, so it's sound science, is if you slow your eating speed down and you focus on the food and nothing else, you will be able to hear that signal that says you're full. Because people who are overweight tend to think about food all day long, except when they're eating it. Then they shovel it in as fast as they can, or they watch TV while they're eating their meal, whatever it is. And the evidence is clear. If you watch TV, listen to the radio, or you're online when you're eating, you will eat more. If you focus on the food, you chew it at about 1/4 of the speed, and you focus on the food, nothing else, you then can hear that signal, and it's easier to stop and leave food on your...
So it's possible what you end up doing is that your stomach is going to tell your head that you're full, but you're eating so fast that you've gone beyond that point before it can say it.
That's absolutely right, Philip. Yes, there's a lag, if you like, from the hormones that signal satiety, fullness. And so when we go slowly, actually the food tastes better because we can actually enjoy the experience rather than shoveling it in just to change how we feel. Because, you know, very often people who are emotional eaters, they feel stressed or upset or bored or whatever it is, so they use food to medicate themselves, and that's when they shovel it in rather fast.
And we've also forgotten the signs of what real hunger feels like as well, because we sort of graze or pick or snack or whatever we do.
Absolutely. It's another very good point, because real hunger comes on gradually. You know, people go, yeah, I might want something to eat a bit later. Emotional hunger is, I feel upset, I know I'm going to reach for my stash of chocolate and calm myself down that way. And so if I suddenly think, I'm upset about something, I'm going to change how I feel. And everybody, you know, does it by some means. Drinking, drug taking, gambling, sex, shopping and television to some extent changes how we feel. But a lot of people go for sugar-based things, you know, so that definitely gives you an instant state change.
Well, we asked on our poll, what is it that you would like to have a little bit more control of as far as eating is concerned? It could be anything. Second were crisps, 18%. Third was alcohol, 13%. The winner, with 35% of the vote, was chocolate. So 35% of the people who took part in our poll have an issue with chocolate. You say you can help them directly.
I can. I mean, just at Christmas, somebody said to me, I'm eating too much bread, I want to stop bread. So I said, when you look at it, I've got to have it, I've got a compulsion. Same with chocolate. When you look at it, if you look at a bar of chocolate and you can't have one piece, you've got to demolish all of it. The chocolate's in charge and not you. So what I ask people to do is think about something you feel out of control around, say, the taste of chocolate. And then I say, think about something that you're revolted by, not something you don't like. I mean, something you really don't like. It might be anchovies, it might be broccoli, it might be oysters, it could be anything, right? And what I want you to do is mix the two tastes together in your mind in just a second. So we do this as a thought experiment. So what I'd like you to do is imagine eating the chocolate and the taste and the texture of it in your mouth, and then as you chew into it, the taste of something that you really hate, like chopped liver or anchovies, is inside the chocolate. That's it. Keep chewing, keep mixing together. Because what we're doing is we're taking a compulsion and a repulsion, putting them together, and one cancels out the other. Keep chewing the chocolate with the anchovies, or maybe put some hair from a barbershop floor in there.
Oh,
there you go. That's right. We need you to be, just a little uncomfortable, and then swallow it. That's it. Swallow it down. Go. And then see, does the chocolate seem quite as appealing as it did? If it doesn't, then you're more in control. You've got more freedom because you can choose to take it or leave it. If it doesn't, just find something that's a little bit more repulsive, if you like, until you take the compulsion down with the repulsion.
And the evidence of this working, is this... How do you know that this works?
Well, because I've been doing it for about 25 years with people, and not just individuals, in big groups, you know, so, 1,000 people at a time. And also, you know, when I started out, I wanted to see what the scientific research was on hypnosis and modern psychological techniques like what I've just done. And of course, it doesn't work for everyone every time, but for most people, most of the time, we find that 7 in 10 people say that my techniques work for them.
Wow, that's incredible.
You're going out on the road. You've got 5 interactive performances.
Yes.
So live the life you want, I think, is the theme.
Yes. Yeah.
So and so this is not just food, as we've been talking about now. This is across the board.
It's right. I've been doing motivational talks for years now, but they're not really lectures. They're an interactive experience, as you say, Phillip. And so it's called The 3 Things That Will Change Your Destiny Today. And so I invite somebody from the audience. I'll say, who's got a trauma or a problem they just cannot get over? And because modern psychological techniques allow us mostly in minutes to make major changes, within 15, 20 minutes, that person's life has changed. And I turn and I do it to the entire audience, to all the people there. So it's like a mass a hypnosis session. It's not therapy as such, it's more motivation. So it's helping people to overcome problems, to get clear about what it is they want in life and how to go for it. So there's no way you won't leave that feeling uplifted.
And it is changing that mindset. And actually, you've got a podcast, and it's a positivity podcast, and it's exactly that. But you interview or have a chat with, which is nice about the podcast, with celebrities to reveal their sort of mindset and almost like the secret behind their successes.
Yes, you're right, Holly. Yeah, my new podcast is called Positivity Podcast, and I'm interviewing some of the world's most interesting and successful people. So this week it's been Simon Cowell, Warwick Davis. Tomorrow it's Gary Lineker. Other people I've already recorded the podcast with are Roger Daltrey, Paul Oakenfold. So these are people from all different spheres of life. But I asked them, about their success mindset. Without asking directly, I'll say, how did you get started? What one piece of advice would you give to people, from everything that you've learned in life? How do you handle criticism and challenges and setbacks, And so it's quite deep in some ways. It's a psychological interview.
What happens if they answer in a negative way and you say, what if it, no criticism, it crushes me?
Oh, well, you see, they're very human at that point, and people can relate to it. And, Simon Cowell talks about how, one of the best things that ever happened to him was when he had his business fell apart when he was quite young, and that taught him
what he learned from it,
and to be resilient. And I said, how do you face rejection? He says, well, I get it all the time, but it makes me more determined. So actually, when somebody hears someone super successful like that saying, this is what happened to me, I think it's very reassuring.
Well, thank you. As always, it's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you, Holly. Lovely to see you.
Change Your Destiny. The UK tour starts on the 9th of February, and obviously the Positivity Podcast is available now.
Right.
Thank you.